Cool. All right. I think that we are live on the public stream. Thanks everybody for joining for another episode of the OpenJS Foundation's Cross Project Council meeting. Excuse me. Today is the 28th of February, 2023. We can get things started. How about we start with some announcements? Do we have any announcements? Joy, this used to be our thing, right?
I know. Well, so I guess the big announcement, obviously we're continuing. We closed our CFP for the sessions at Open Source Summit North America for OpenJS World Track, and our amazing programming committee has been meeting and reviewing those, and it's really hard, but we're meeting again tomorrow. So this is also kind of a reminder that we've got, and Claudio is here, I think, so Claudio can probably speak to all the awesome stuff we have planned for Collab Summit. And I think we just shared some dope graphics, yes, today. So they look really sharp. So we're excited about Collab Summit, and we just want you all to tell your friends to meet us in Vancouver. So that's one big hot topic. And also we want to say thank you to Living Spec, who joined this week as a silver member. So thank you to Dylan and his team for supporting us. So yeah, those are the
That's amazing
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, what Living Spec joined as what?
They're silver member.
Silver member, great.
Yep.
Cool. Great.
Do we have a link for the graphics?
Oh, yes. Well,
Because I haven't seen them, so now I'm like,
it's in a Slack chat.
asking or trying to Google.
It's on a Slack channel.
Yeah.
I think I can just forward them to the CPC channel. How tight?
Yeah, pop them in there. They're really cool. I like them a lot.
Awesome, cool. Looking forward to seeing them. Thank you.
Cool. All right, great. Thanks for those announcements. Rock and roll. Anything around the board? Board friends? Do we have? We don't have any board friends here. All right, cool. So I will jump into the agenda. The first item is the Node.js TSC charter change, which is done, approved, closed. So that's cool. Next one.
Well, to be clear, it's removed because Node is going to be revising the charter change based on some of the feedback from the CPC. So it will be revisited in the future.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I should have clicked through and checked that out. It will be based. Okay, cool. Great. Next up is enabling payments for GitHub code spaces for projects. Sean, you got a brief update on that one?
Yeah, I think overall the discussions that I wanted to have is look into how we can set up having like a billing manager for open source projects, so that not only covering GitHub code spaces, but potentially GitHub Actions in the future. And what that looks like. So I don't know if any projects today have OpenJSF as a billing manager on their open source project on GitHub, but if not, I think that's something that we should probably set up and sync on. So I think that's going to be my investigation, for this week until the next meeting, and I'll find out some more info.
Okay. Cool. I can't tell if someone else is also trying to take notes, but if they are, that's great, because it's hard for me to take notes and think and do things. Cool. Thanks, Sean. Next up is issue 1003. Create some documentation web page to describe collaboration model on OpenJS. This is from Mateo. I see a couple of comments. Yeah, does anybody have any thoughts or comments about this? They've looked at it at all? trying to get up to speed quickly.
This is about explaining the difference in governance of open source projects, essentially, I think.
Ah, collaboration models. Okay. Interesting.
I mean, I certainly think if this is something we want to have on the site, that would be really good to know. I mean, there's been some contemplation of redoing the OpenJS update, refreshing the website and kind of refreshing the information architecture. And so if this would be information that would like to highlight in some key way, that would be good to know, so we can put that to the designer in the design brief and that kind of thing. So that might be just let's pin this for that too.
I like looking at
One-
this as a value prop for the org. I think that's a pretty smart idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, but we probably will need a domain expert to volunteer to write the prose for it.
Yeah, I agree.
But like once the prose exists, I think it would be incumbent on us to get that marketed and published appropriately.
And
Yeah.
probably also to say the so what, right? Like, so I mean, I think what y'all are saying is like this is a benefit, a value, sort of a set of our principles, even so, kind of making sure that all of that is framed in that way, and it's not just like here's a Wikipedia entry on governance, or something like that. So
Yeah. It's
To your point, sorry, Joe.
no, go ahead.
No, I think to your point, Joey, I think there's like a sort of like a marketing element to it from the foundation's perspective. And I think that's one bit. And then there's another aspect that could be interesting also, is to have, maybe an external, I don't know, newspaper or news, sort of like tech news thing, write about this also. Rather than have us sort of like try to control that narrative. I think it's good to, it's like marketing on one side for the organization, and sort of like promoting those values more broadly would also be valuable.
Yeah. Cool. All right, great. So is there like an action item or anything on that, or is that kind of on the foundation side to look into an expert or something, or what do we think we should be thinking about for next steps?
seems like this is something we should tag for like Kylie and marketing, kind of again to contemplate as part of, since I think a website refresh is imminent-ish. It'll happen this year. Maybe we should have that team kind of add this to their thinking around the site.
I mean, Kylie is not there, so we should absolutely volunteer her, right? Obviously,
yes.
Okay. All right, cool. Great, thanks. Moving on, the next item is this is issue 982. Determine what a realistic foundation CPC review process could look like. I think where we landed was oh yeah, Jory dropped a NPS kind of survey for now is a good first step. We've got a doc there started mid-January. There's nobody here from the foundation to let us know if there's any movement on that. I don't know if this document is fully ready yet. Let me see, take a look at it.
I don't think it is, frankly, and I think we should maybe put this in the back burner for a little while.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
It feels like we could sort of like target, I don't know, maybe the fall or something for this.
Yeah.
And work back from there when we have a bit just a bit more time to spend on this.
Yeah. Should we remove the label?
We could put like one of the quarterly revisit thing, because like we're clearly not going to be working on this now. I mean, I would be really surprised if we had the bandwidth to do this right now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So I will add the quarterly review one and remove that one.
And I can put a note in there saying that we'll revisit this, sort of like focusing on, I don't know, doing some sort of like a survey in the fall or something.
I think that would be great if you wouldn't mind doing that.
I'll do that.
Thank you, Toby. Cool. So the next one is add patching script for code of conduct modifications. Did that that is still open, right? There is a pull request 972 that Yagiz was working on. I know Yagiz is a little bit busy with other things at the moment. So it needs to be rebased at a minimum. And then I don't know if there's any, Emily still has a block on it, so we gotta double back on that. I missed the last CPC meeting, so I don't know if this was discussed. But I think that's still kind of on hold. Which relates to the next issue, which is pull request 851, which is I think also kind of blocked or will be closed once we get the other stuff in place. The patching script in place. So moving on, the next item is 815, issue 815, license check support and tooling. I don't think I am, the last comment here is mentioning a license and legal scanner that was donated to OWASP by IBM. That donation has happened. It's still private, but I'm pretty sure they're going to announce it soon, maybe tomorrow, but I'm not sure. So once that's out, we can kind of review whether that meets our needs and if the LFIT wants to adopt that or integrate that or whatever, and we can maybe double check back on this in 2 weeks and should be able to know more then. Cool. And then the last one on the list here is clarify requirements around code of conduct violation. This is issue 786. So is this the one? Yeah, with the checklist. I think I had a good comment a while ago that absolved you of this. Oh, 3 weeks ago, somebody commented and Ben commented. Anybody up to speed on this?
I'm certainly not, although I should be, but very clearly not. I think I was sort of like waiting for the COC stuff to sort of like stabilize and have a sense of like where that was going.
Yeah.
I think my understanding from the conversations around the COC stuff was that we are going to move ahead with the automation thingy that Yagiz has been working on. And sort of like run this for like a quarter or something and see how that goes, and then make a decision. So I frankly, like I haven't had a more deeper look in this for a while.
Yeah, me too.
And there's also like there was the whole idea of like finalizing the organization of the CPC moderation team. And I don't know what that is. The COC team. I don't know what that is either.
Yeah.
Do we have an issue open for this, or like have we made decisions about this?
Yeah, I remember there being an issue about it. It's not on this agenda, so I don't know. Let me look and see if I can find it real quickly. But I think the crux of it is that we have more work to do. And this being the last item on the agenda. Usually the last thing we talk about is what we're going to do in the next working session. So I don't know if we want to continue pushing this stuff forward. Maybe the patching process first, and then the look at what the situation is with the team in terms of the moderation team for the CPC and OpenJS. And
well, we had this really super useful session like a few weeks ago was that person from the CNCF whose name now obviously escapes me, and who sort of like answered a whole bunch of sort of the questions we had around this.
Yeah.
And I think there were some notes out of that session, but I'm not sure what they are. And so maybe sort of like overall action items around this should be to figure out where those notes are and figure out what the next steps are overall for this whole space.
Yeah.
And maybe doing the working session next week on this topic would be a good thing.
Yeah, I think so too. We were making progress. I think we needed to keep it moving forward and try to close on some of these things. So I'm in favor of that. And I'll also take the action item of finding those notes and stuff. I remember helping with that at a minimum.
So that's great.
Yeah. So cool. So next week we will do that. And I will try to maybe send an update to the Slack channel with the, notes or whatnot to be prepared for next week.
Or maybe even if we don't have an open issue on this, we don't have an open issue for this whole thing. That this feels surprising.
No, I'm pretty sure we did, and I just was looking through and I didn't see anything, so I'm sure I'm just missing it. Maybe it was a PR actually. That's what I think it is.
Well, I think there's a PR that also think there's an open issue. Let's try to figure. Oh, yes. Are you leaving, Michael?
Yeah. Commits last month. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's this PR where there's a lot of comments, but I gotta find the doc that we had from that meeting with
Yeah, there's also 985 about the nomination for the moderation panel.
great. Okay. Great. Yeah, so I will look for those docs. I'll try to pull together the maybe something of an agenda for the working session and share it in the Slack channel, and we can go from there. Yeah.
Awesome.
The other thing that I'm reminded of is that we have this where did it go? Is it over here? Yeah. We have this wonderful file here, dates and reminders at the top level. And somebody asked me about something and I went and opened it and was like, oh, shoot. Director 1 election term ends February 28th. So
And when's that?
that's today. So.
And who is this?
This would be Sarah's role, right? Yeah, so I gotta figure that out and work on that too. So I will reach out to Jory about it and about how to move it forward. Abby?
I think because you had that election in the summer for Sarah's the last time you had the election. Robin mentioned wanting just to keep us all for the calendar year because I was also elected in the summer. And we might have to amend something in the bylaws. And that's as far as that conversation went. But that's what the thinking is right now, if that's helpful.
Okay. Yeah, the second, so I'd have to look to see who is who, but the director number 2 election happened in July.
Oh,
So
never mind then. Yeah.
So, but I don't know. And I
Yeah,
know
they're like,
yeah,
they're every 6 months.
yeah.
Oh, maybe they were only talking about the silver directors then. Never mind.
No, it's okay.
It's good to talk about elections. I mean, it's been a while.
I know you love them, Toby. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to look at that too. So I have a couple of things here to work on. I know we've had conversations too about reconfiguring the calendar for elections and whatnot. We had a couple of them set up based around the event that maybe doesn't really make as much sense. And should they be 2-year things? Should they be, overlapping and whatnot? So, all right, I will take an action item to work on that as well. Cool, but we at least have a plan for next week in terms of the code of conduct stuff. So we know what's going on there, and I'll work on the selection stuff as well. And if we end 27 minutes early, I will start working on it right now. So
I think that's great because if we don't end 27 minutes early, I'm going to start making jokes about elections, and this is going to go
Yeah, I know.
off rail really quickly. And so
Yeah.
I'm going to sort of like hold it in.
let's cut that short. Claudio?
Yeah, I just want to ask if possible if we can also. I think Sarah is already looking into this, but regarding the project funds, like what's the budget we have for this year?
Yeah, I think her last comment was that she was gonna figure it out. And are you talking about like the community fund or project funding? That was confusing last time.
Oh yes, it's for the community funding, like for the travel fund and etc. Because basically, I wanted to archive the 2022 and kick off 2023. As at least myself included, I already wanted to request travel sponsorship for Open Source Summit.
Yeah, which I
Yeah,
think
me
you should
too.
go ahead and do.
Okay. Just because there's no document for 2023, so it will be kind of, I don't know, like
Right, that
pull-
PR has to be merged before anyone can
I
request
see,
it.
I see.
Yeah, kind of. Otherwise, my pull request will have 0 file changes, like just maybe touch an empty file.
But Claudio, I do think you could merge it with a TBD, like, or to do or something for the
Yeah.
budget, if that's all we're waiting
Gotcha.
on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
if we are fine because we already got a good amount of approvals, then I'm just going to comment first. TPG have this.
You know what you can do is they had a board meeting, I think, last Friday. And so they might have like actually made the decision about this or have that information. And so why don't you just ping Sarah, CC Sarah and or Matteo on the, on that and see if you hear back from them on the pull request asking for the amount.
I would even just Slack them, because Sarah responded yesterday.
Yeah, I think she's already into it. It could be some like, since it was yesterday, just be like being too much on her. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or
Well, let me know. We'll fit. It seems like this shouldn't be something too hard to figure out. So I'm happy to help you work on that, Claudio.
yeah, for now I'm just going to merge, and then
Right.
follow up on that.
And regardless, there's clearly enough in those funds to cover for the upcoming thing right now, and we can just figure out like whatever later on, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm also not.
I'm making assumptions here, but like I think those are reasonable assumptions to make.
Yeah, the travel fund has been around for years. I don't think that's just going to go away. So whatever it is,
we would have known.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, it's not like I'm going to request something like $5,000. Yeah, no, it's like 500 something. Yeah. Anyhow, cool. Thank you.
Cool. All right, good. All right, great. Well, before Toby starts talking about elections, we should call it a wrap.
Yeah. You should.
It might be an inside joke, but I really have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. We've had a lot of conversations about elections and.
So the joke is we talk about elections all the time, which like I just find extremely annoying. And so now we also talk about how elections are annoying whenever we don't have elections. So like it's just made things worse. And it has a little flavor of like dad jokes to it too. Somehow.
Dad jokes. Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So it's all of these things.
Good times.
Anyway,
yeah,
it's time to go.
All right. Cool.
Folks,
Thanks
have a good one.
everybody.